Hello students, today we are going to learn about the structure of DNA. Now that we are familiar with the principles of inheritance and variation, and we know that there are genes which are transferring the traits from parent to the progeny, and these traits are being controlled by genetic material. Is chemically DNA. So if we look at DNA, it looks like this. It's a double helix structure. It's a double helix structure and having these things in between. It's like a staircase. These are the backbones and these are the stairs in it. So you can compare this structure with the staircase where you are having the railings and you are having the steps. So DNA looks like this. There are two strands, double helix, and these strands are curved, highly coiled, and these are the structures which look like steps. Now, we will see that why, because when Mendel did his experiments, Mendel thought that there is something, because Mendel was not able to identify the chemical nature of the factor. He said that there is something which is being transferred from the parents to the progeny. What is DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid is the genetic material, at least for the majority of the organisms. Now, DNA, we will study the structure of DNA in detail today. DNA is a long polymer of deoxyribonucleotides. What is a polymer? Poly means many and mer means unit. So if many similar units are joined together, that structure is called polymer. So this polymer, the DNA is a polymer of nucleotides. Length of the DNA is usually defined as the number of nucleotides. How many nucleotides are present? That decides the DNA of the length of the DNA. Or this can also be referred as base pairs, which is normally written as BP. So base pairs are there, which denotes the number, the length of the DNA. And this is the number of base pair is a characteristic feature of an organism, like the number of chromosomes. Number of chromosomes for a human being is 46. So if it is 50, that would not be human being. If it is 32, that would not be human being, because it is a characteristic feature of the organism. Similarly, the number of base pairs present on DNA is also a characteristic feature of an organism. For example, bacteriophage lambda is having 48,502 base pairs. Escherichia coli, which is commonly called as E. coli bacteria, this is having 4.6 to 10 raised to the power 6 base pairs. And haploid content. What is haploid content? N number. That means half. Content of human DNA is 3.3 into 10 raised to the power 9 base pairs. So this is characteristic of each organism. Now, structure of a polynucleotide chain. As we said that DNA is a polynucleotide. Now, this nucleotide, each single unit of DNA has three components. What are these components? A nitrogenous base, a pentose sugar, and a phosphate group. Now, this nitrogenous bases are of two types, purines and pyrimidines. Purines are two nitrogenous bases, adenine and guanine. Arthigagria. So you can remember that purines are Arthigagria, adenine and guanine. These two are purines. And pyrimidines are cytosine, thymine, and uracil. So these are three, but cytosine is common for DNA and RNA. Thymine is present in DNA, whereas uracil is present in RNA. Okay, so the two pyrimidines and two purines are present in DNA, and two purines and two pyrimidines are present in RNA. So if it is RNA, in place of thymine, you will find uracil, and if it is DNA, you will find two pyrimidines, cytosine and thymine. Cytosine is present, is common for DNA and RNA. Now, thymine is present in DNA and uracil is present in RNA at place of thymine. Now, see how they are connected to each other. Three things are there. Nitrogenous base is there, pentose sugar is there, and the third thing is phosphate. So, first the nitrogenous base and pentose sugar. They are connected by a linkage which is called N-glycosidic linkage. This linkage is the bond which is present between a nitrogenous base and pentose sugar. Now, this nitrogenous base can be any. It can be adenine, it can be thymine, it can be guanine, it can be cytosine. And when these two are joined with this glycosidic bond, it is called nucleoside. For example, if adenine is joined with deoxyribose. Now, what is this pentose sugar? Pentose sugar is sugar consisting of 5 carbon atoms. That is pentose sugar. So, ribose is a pentose sugar. It is having 5 carbons on it. We number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, this 5 pentose sugar, deoxy, that means one oxygen is being removed. So that is called deoxyribose. So the pentose sugar which is present in DNA is called deoxyribose, and the pentose sugar which is present in RNA is called ribose. So when this nitrogen base, adenine, joins with a normal glycosidic linkage with a deoxyribose, the corresponding nucleoside formed is deoxyadenosine. This is a nucleoside. Similarly, when guanine is joined with deoxyribose, it will form deoxyguanosine. Cytosine is joined with deoxyribose, it will form deoxycytidine. And when thymine is joined with deoxyribose, it will form deoxythymidine. So these are the nucleosides. Nitrogen base with pentose sugar. Now what is left? Phosphate. Now this nucleoside, when joins with a phosphate group, that is called nucleotide. So phosphate group is joining with 5. This is called 5 prime. This means 5th carbon atom on a pentose sugar. So phosphate group is joining with the 5th carbon atom of pentose, and this is of a nucleoside, and this is forming a nucleotide. This is forming a nucleotide. So nitrogen base plus pentose sugar forming nucleoside. Nucleoside plus phosphate group is forming nucleotide. The for nitrogen base is joined with the pentose sugar by a bond which is called glycosidic linkage, and the phosphate group is joined to a nucleoside on the 5th carbon, and that is called phosphoester linkage. Clear? Now here one phosphate group is joined with the pentose sugar. Now what happened? One nucleotide is joined with another nucleotide. So one nucleotide, phosphate, another nucleotide, phosphate, another nucleotide. So between two nucleotides there is phosphate. Phosphate is joined with one nucleotide at the 5 carbon and with this side of nucleotide at the 3rd carbon. So this bondage is called 3 prime 5 prime phosphodiester linkage. Why diester? This earlier one was ester because there was only one pentose sugar, pentose with nitrogenous base, that is nucleoside. Now here there are two, so that's why it is called phosphodiester linkage. At one side it is connected with the third carbon of the pentose sugar, and another side it is connected with the fifth carbon atom of the pentose sugar, and this two nucleotides together will form dinucleotide. Di means two. Di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa. So these are the terms we use in chemistry as well. Now more nucleotides are joined in such a manner to form a polynucleotide. Now many nucleotides will join together like this and they will form a polynucleotide, that is our DNA. So what happens, just see here, this is 5' phosphate. Now this is one end, at one end the phosphate is there, nucleotide, 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 many nucleotides. And many nucleotides, and this end there is 3' hydroxyl group. So at one side you will have free end phosphate group, that is at 5, and this is hydroxyl group at the another side, that is at 3'. So that's why this one chain, one fragment of DNA is from 5' to 3'. It will become more clear when I'll show you the diagram. Now at one end of this polymer, a free phosphate moiety at 5 end of the ribose sugar is present, and at the other end the ribose has a free 3' OH group. Matlab when where the fragment is ending, at one end you will find phosphate group free, and at another end you will find 3' OH group free. Now just have a look at this. This is your pentose sugar. Now pentose sugar means 5 carbon, so start counting from here. At 1 carbon there is nitrogenous base. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. Okay. So now this phosphate is present at 5. This phosphate is present at 3. So that means this phosphate. Look at this phosphate. This phosphate is present. This phosphate is connected with this pentose at 3 and this pentose at 5. This is called phosphodiester bond because both the sides you will find pentose. Now this is what? This is only one phosphate connected with one pentose. So this bond is called phosphoester bond. This is diester and this is ester. Phosphoester bond. Clear? Okay. Now this bond which is present between the pentose and nitrogenous base, this is called N-diphosphate bond. And bonds which are present between the two nitrogenous bases are hydrogen bonds. So how many types of bonds are present? 4 types of bonds are present. Glycosidic bonds, phosphoester bonds, phosphodiester bonds, and hydrogen bonds. And if you see between adenine and thymine, there are 2 hydrogen bonds, and between guanine and cytosine, there are 3 hydrogen bonds. And these are the 2 strands of DNA fragments. So one is from 5' to 3', and another one is, it is anti-parallel. Another one is 3' to 5'. And this is called complementary pairing. What is complementary pairing? Adenine will always join with thymine. It cannot join with cytosine. Cytosine will always join with guanine. Guanine will always join with cytosine, not with adenine or thymine. So A will join with T, T will join with A, G will join with C, C will join with G. This is called complementary base pairing. Now look at this. This is the sugar phosphate backbone. This is the backbone. This is a double helix structure of DNA. Now this is the backbone. The railing is the backbone. Now this backbone is made up of phosphate. This is the phosphate group, PO4 negative. And this is the nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous bases are protruding, and because they are going to form the steps. And this is pentose sugar. And this phosphate is joined from one pentose at 3. This is 3 prime because this is 1, 2, 3. Third carbon. And here it is fifth carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Fifth carbon. So from 1, third carbon, and from second it is fifth carbon. And this bond is phosphodiester bond. Clear? Okay. Now see this. These are the nitrogenous bases: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. Now see the difference. Adenine and guanine are purines, artigagria, and thymine and cytosine are pyrimidines. Okay. Now this adenine and guanine, purines are having 2 ring structures. And these pyrimidines are 1 ring structure. Now, always whenever the complementary base pairing is done, the one nitrogenous base is purine and the another is pyrimidine. So, adenine will always pair with thymine. So, how many total? 3 rings. And guanine will always pair with cytosine, 3 rings. That's why this distance between the 2 helical structures are same, because one purine and one pyrimidine is present. So always there are 3 ring structure joined by hydrogen bonds. Now when guanine join with cytosine, it is triple bond, and when adenine join with thymine, it is double bond. 2 bond of cytosine. Achha, here they have given the central dogma. This is all the more clear. This is the double helix. And if I'll make it straight, uncoil it and make it straight, then this is the structure. 3 prime to 5 prime, and here it is 3 to 5. That means it's anti-parallel. This is called anti-parallel. Now what happens? This backbone is made up of pentose sugar and phosphate. This is pentose sugar. Now pentose sugar, this is 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbon, 4 carbon, and 5 carbon. So on 5th carbon, there is a phosphate group, PO4. And this bond is called phosphoester bond. Now, this 2 pentose, what is the pentose in DNA? Deoxyribose. So, this deoxyribose, 2 deoxyribose are joined by this phosphate, and this bond is called phosphodiester bond. At one side from the 3 carbon, and at one side 5th carbon. So 3 and 5th carbon. In between you will find phosphate group. So this is phosphodiester bond. Now on 1 carbon of the pentose sugar, that is deoxyribose, you will find the nitrogenous base. So this is which nitrogenous base? Adenine. Now adenine is joined by thymine with 2 hydrogen bonds, and this thymine is again joined to the number 1 carbon of this pentose, the second stair, the second railing, the backbone of the DNA. So this is one and this is another one. And in between you will find the nitrogenous bases which are connected with the hydrogen bonds. Now this, there is a complementary pairing. Everywhere you will see A will pair with T, T will pair with A. G will pair with C and C will pair with G. So this is called complementary base pairing, because it is always one purine nitrogenous base with another pyrimidine nitrogenous base, and that too it's very particular that adenine will always pair with, make you identify easily. So this is about the structure of the DNA.